Okay, let's unpack this. I mean, really think about it. Imagine a world where your daily commute, it isn't just about, dodging traffic or finding parking. Imagine the air you breathe, the actual air, literally reflecting the nation's economic health.
Yeah.
Well, you could look up and see the trade deficit.
It's a wild concept.
Totally wild. A world where financial policies, they don't just hit your wallet or your bank account. No, they actually reshape the sky, the ground beneath you, maybe even gravity itself.
Sounds like something straight out of science fiction, doesn't it?
Exactly. But that's where our deep dive takes us today. We've got this really unique set of source material. There's this fascinating, really thought-provoking novel. It's called Trump's Default, The Mist of Empire.
Right.
And alongside it, there's a survivor's guide and a detailed timeline. And taken together, well, this isn't just a story anymore.
No, it's more like a thought experiment.
It is a thought experiment, a kind of future what-if scenario that forces us, I think, to see these hidden connections between the economy, something we think of as abstract, and our actual lived physical environment.
Makes the invisible visible.
Precisely. So our mission today really is to explore how this story imagines economic imbalance manifesting physically, tangibly, and maybe even more importantly, how a radical new sort of community-driven approach could literally rebalance the world.
And what's really fascinating here, is how the source material introduces this idea of a metaphysical layer of the economy, something that starts to bleed through, to manifest physically.
Yeah.
And it's not just some quirky literary device,
Yeah.
right? It's actually a powerful metaphor for how deeply connected our financial systems are with our collective reality, maybe even our perception of reality. The novel really emphasizes these unignorable symptoms. It's like a direct pushback against a world that's gotten really good at dismissing inconvenient truth hidden in spreadsheets. Dense economic reports nobody reads.
Right, abstracting it all away.
Exactly. But what happens when that invisible hand of the market, that phrase we all know, what if it becomes a literal presence in your sky? Something you can see, smell, maybe even, walk through.
Wow.
This narrative really forces you to confront that. And the implications for how we understand, how we react to economic health, they become totally different. It's not just numbers anymore.
I completely agree. It's such a brilliant way to force that confrontation, to make the abstract undeniably physically real. And the story kicks off in a way that's, it starts subtly, but it gets alarming pretty fast.
Yeah.
It begins in 2025 with the very first physical sign of these economic shifts. So the first sign, the one that really grabs everyone's attention and kind of signals this bizarre new reality, is something the novel calls the trade mist. It starts appearing around April 2025. And picture this, okay? It's described as this strange, shimmering haze. Faintly sparkling, almost.
Yeah, like glitter suspended in the air.
Exactly. And it has this distinct teal and gold color. And it just clings inexplicably to things like container cranes in major port cities. We're talking Long Beach, Houston, Charleston, Seattle, the big ones.
The key entry points for all those imports.
Right. But what makes it so unsettling, it isn't just how it looks. It's that it defies normal weather patterns. It resists wind.
Which fog doesn't do.
No.
Yeah.
And it pulses almost like it's breathing. And it has this faint but distinct smell.
Yeah.
Like oxidized copper. Pennies, maybe?
Yeah, that metallic tang.
Yeah.
It was immediately obvious this wasn't just morning fog or industrial smog. This was something new, something different.
Definitely.
And that's where its symbolic meaning, within the novel's world really clicks into place. The trade mist, as the source describes it, is the literal materialization of the trade imbalance.
Okay.
It behaves in ways that are predictable, but also terrifying. It flows mainly where imports arrive,
Yeah.
right? And it gets thicker, denser, wherever the U.S. is most economically exposed because of that imbalance. Think like a runaway trade deficit becoming visible smog.
So you could literally see the deficit.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
And researchers, places like MIT, they quickly set up these advanced sensors. They start registering these weird, low-frequency electromagnetic patterns, specific resonant frequencies inside the mist zones.
So it wasn't just visual.
Oh, not at all. It was actively messing with small electronics. RFID tags on shipping containers, even stuff in grocery stores, they'd glitch. GPS readings would get slightly distorted. And it emitted this low, eerie hum. People described it as almost mournful, like it vibrated in your teeth.
Yeah.
Really unsettling.
I bet.
And pretty soon, there's this public app, Mist Map, that tracks its concentration in real time. Green for light mist, pulsing red for the really heavy stuff.
And I'm guessing social media went wild.
Instantly. Hashtag trade mist was trending constantly. It just shows how quickly this utterly bizarre thing permeated everyday life. An abstract economic concept became this physical, unavoidable reality.
So public reaction, I mean, you can imagine it was all over the place, right? From total dismissal to just wild theories.
Oh, absolutely. At first, yeah, people tried to brush it off. Weird weather, climate change, side effect,
Standard denial.
But it didn't go away. So then the conspiracy theories exploded online. Chinese PSYOP was a big one, apparently.
Of course.
Though completely wrong, according to the book's narrative. And, maybe a bit cynically, influencers jumped on it, taking these moody selfies bathed in the mist's glow.
Oh boy, missing the point entirely.
Or maybe deliberately ignoring the dread, the real disruptions it was causing. But amidst all that noise, this young journalist, Layla Sadeghi, she becomes the kind of unofficial chronicler of the mist.
Okay.
Her blog posts, especially one called The Fog of Finance, they really took off. She started getting anonymous tips, too, included this bombshell from a retired Treasury official.
Really? What was it?
He hinted the Fed knew about this months before it became public, that they had a secret task force. And get this, they were using real-time mist levels as an off-book proxy measure for hidden capital flows, stuff that didn't show up in normal metrics.
Wow. So the government knew the economy was literally bleeding into the air.
That was the implication.
Yeah.
A chilling idea, right?
Yeah.
That these hidden financial movements had a physical counterpart.
Definitely chilling.
And what makes it even more disturbing, what lifts it beyond just a weird science thing, is this Savannah incident.
Yeah.
The sources detail.
What happened there?
Truckers at a big Walmart distribution center near the port. They claimed the mist wasn't just humming, it was whispering to them.
Whispering, like voices.
Yeah. One guy, Jorge, an Army vet, he described this awful experience. He swore he heard his dead wife's voice, clear as day, coming from inside the mist.
That's horrible.
Right. Emergency crews had to physically drag these drivers out of their cabs. They were in shock, totally disoriented. This event, plus the constant humming, it really fed this growing public feeling that this wasn't just environmental, it was something deeper, existential.
Like the country itself was sick.
Exactly. Jorge's quote, "It's haunting." He said, "It's like the country's soul got tired." It just captures this sense of weariness, decay, this spiritual exhaustion the mist seemed to embody for people trying to grasp this new reality, a psychic manifestation of national sickness.
And things escalated pretty quickly from there.
Undeniably. Layla Sadeghi, she kept digging, tracking misconcentrations against trade data, and she found this clear, horrifying pattern.
What was it?
The mist was thickest wherever the trade deficit was widest. California, Texas, the Southeast places flooded with imports. It was a direct visual correlation.
So the data backed up the symbolism.
Perfectly. Congress, they couldn't ignore it anymore. Public pressure, the physical reality, it forced their hand. They held these televised hearings.
Which probably didn't help much.
Well, you had economists totally baffled, speculating wildly, talking about quantum leakage of capital or psychological mass projection, like collective anxiety literally shaping the weather.
Desperate times.
One lawmaker even called it divine punishment. And all this political theater, this academic scrambling, it culminated in these desperate haze riots in New Jersey. October 2025. Riots. Over mist. Yeah. Workers, they were getting persistent headaches, weird dreams, losing time. They refused to unload cargo ships. Protesters formed human chains at port entrances. Their signs said things like, "Close the ports, clear the sky," making that direct link between the economy and their suffering explicitly. By December 2025, the White House couldn't dodge it anymore. The mist was literally clouding the nation's health, its economy. So they had to address it. The president, looking visibly uncomfortable, almost bewildered, held this press conference, stood next to his new trade advisor, awkwardly stated the mist was not harmful and just being looked into by the best minds. The classic brush-off. But if you connect this to the bigger picture, right? This was the moment. The surreal, almost absurd admission that the economy was no longer invisible. Its abstract workings had taken on this undeniable physical form, something tangible, unignorable.
The numbers on the spreadsheet became the air you breathe.
Exactly. A visible, disruptive problem you couldn't sweep under the rug anymore. The air itself was the barometer of the nation's hidden financial pain. A very uncomfortable, very public reckoning.
Okay, but here's where things take another really sharp turn. Because amidst this, atmospheric economic weirdness, a huge shift comes from the tech world, and maybe from the egos of two massive figures.
The Musk-Trump moment.
Right. The Alliance of Greatness event. July 4th, 2025. Everyone expected this big show of unity, right? Tech mogul, political leader, a futuristic coalition.
Power players joining forces.
But backstage, apparently, a huge clash. Ideological, personal. Sources later revealed Musk reportedly refused to even shake Trump's hand.
Oh, drama.
And then this leaked audio snippet went viral. Musk telling Trump, supposedly with this dismissive wave, "You're building a sandcastle with borrowed time. I build rockets that escape gravity."
Wow. That's quite a statement.
Yeah, it basically foreshadowed this massive split, and it set the stage for something entirely new in politics.
And the fallout was immediate. Musk just vanished. Poof. Gone from public view for 6 weeks.
Leading to tons of speculation, I bet.
Oh, endless speculation. Global media frenzy. Where is he? What's he planning? Then, August 17th, 2025, he reappears with this live stream and the audience, 92 million people globally. Unheard of.
What was the message?
The backdrop was this huge digital banner, the Tesla Party, power to the future. And Musk's speech, it was intense, almost messianic. He laid out this vision for a system designed by logic, not legacy, by data, not dogma, by engineering, not inertia.
Okay.
And the kicker, the Tesla Party is not left or right, it's forward. It was this direct, audacious challenge to the whole existing political system, offering it this radical, data-driven, super-efficient alternative, like an OS upgrade for society.
And knowing Musk, it wasn't just talk.
Not at all. Within 24 hours, the Tesla Party app, TeslaGov, it goes live.
Yeah.
And it starts redefining political engagement immediately. Users could vote directly on policy priorities, join regional task groups, even propose legislation, which would then get refined by open source AI, open for crypto peer review. Total transparency, trying to prevent manipulation.
Interesting.
And the whole onboarding process was gamified, like a slick RPG. You earned impact points for civic contributions. You had a dynamic civic score tracking your engagement, your trustworthiness in this decentralized system.
Making politics a game.
Sort of. Making it feel less like homework, more like this interactive community building thing where your actions actually mattered, measurably. Aimed squarely at younger people fed up with traditional politics.
And then came the big surprise.
The really big one. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC. She decides to join the Tesla Party, becomes one of its first candidates just 2 weeks later.
Whoa, that's an unlikely alliance. Progressive firebrand and tech billionaire party.
Exactly. It bridged these worlds that seemed totally separate, progressive politics and techno-optimism. Her quote was perfect. "This is our upgrade. Not a revolution against America, but an evolution of it."
Capturing that idea of systemic overhaul through innovation.
Precisely. And this move, it instantly gave the Tesla Party mainstream credibility. Pulled in a much broader base of people feeling left behind or ignored by the old parties.
Now, here's where it ties back to the physical weirdness. The movement itself starts affecting the atmosphere.
Yes. This is fascinating. At Tesla Party gatherings, Boston, Columbus, Portland, Baton Rouge people started reporting this new feeling, spark rain.
Spark rain, like literal sparks.
Tiny, pleasant static charges in the air, like the crackle before a storm, but nice, no thunder. And it wasn't localized, it spread with the movement. They're common in areas with high Tesla Party adoption.
Skeptics must have had a field day.
Oh, sure. Mass hysteria, static electricity, whatever. But the believers, they felt it heightened their senses, boosted focus, filled them with this strange, almost electric hope. It reinforced their belief in the party's unique, almost supernatural power.
And Trump's reaction to all this? Predictable.
Utterly. Vitriol. Truth Social went nuts, calling Musk that robot man, accusing him of wanting to be God, wanting to replace patriotism with algorithms. Standard Trump playbook.
Did it work?
Not really. The Tesla Party fought back with tech. TeslaGov launched this AR filter. You point your phone at a Trump billboard. His image digitally crumbles, replaced by blooming flowers, circuit diagrams, sometimes just clear sky.
Yep.
Digital mimetic warfare. And it didn't slow them down. Tesla Party hit 50 million active users by November 2025.
Incredible growth.
Yeah.
Shows the appeal of something new.
Definitely. And inside these growing Tesla Party zones, something even more profound started happening, maybe even miraculous. They call it hope lightning.
Not actual lightning, I assume.
No, not destructive bolts. Brief, localized flashes of clarity, a visible thinning of that ever-present trade mist, a distinct sharpening of the air, like reality snapping back into focus for a second.
Any specific examples?
Yeah, the Survivor's Guide mentions Miami. After a TeslaGov-backed community housing initiative passed locally, entire neighborhoods reported clear skies. First time in months.
And the official explanation.
Meteorologists were baffled. Unexplained weather fluke. Couldn't fit it in their models. But for the people living there, breathing that awful mist, It was proof. Proof the new system, collective action, re-anchor values, was literally fixing their environment.
Giving them a sense of agency, positive action clearing the
Right.
skies.
Exactly. A tangible sign that maybe things could change.
So 2025 ends with mist, political upheaval, and these glimmers of hope in spark zones. But then 2026 arrives, and the problems, they evolve.
They deepen. The atmosphere gets worse, introducing this new, much more irritating anomaly, deficit dust.
Not mist this time, dust. Yeah, and not like normal dust. It's described as this granular, golden black particulate settling everywhere, like a constant, inescapable fall of pollen or ash. It coated everything, cars, windows, your skin, impossible to brush off completely. And it had that same faint, unsettling, oxidized copper smell.
So, connected to the mist somehow.
Seems like it. But the feeling was different. Unlike the trade mist, which could seem ethereal, maybe even beautiful sometimes.
Right.
Deficit dust was just a pure nuisance, a constant, gritty, pervasive reminder that something was deeply wrong.
Yeah, the sources really emphasize that contrast. The dust felt oppressive, and its connection was explicit. It was tied to flows of value, or rather, the lack thereof.
A national debt.
Exactly. The unaddressed ballooning debt made visible. This golden black powder thickened wherever federal deficits were highest, or where debt loads massively outpaced actual production.
So another direct physical link to economic health, or lack thereof.
Absolutely. Economists, still reeling from the mist, quickly noticed this uncanny, almost perfect correlation between dust levels and negative GDP growth.
Oh, wow.
And you know who loved that? Hedge funds. They started using dust index data sourced from TeslaGov's open sensors, ironically, to short municipal bonds, profiting off the nation's fiscal decline.
That's bleak, leveraging the physical manifestation of debt.
It really solidified the idea. America's economic health wasn't just visible. It was now this palpable, inescapable irritant, disrupting daily life, debt you could feel in your skin.
And attempts to fix it, to clean it up.
Largely futile, almost absurd, really. Denver tried deploying drones, spraying anti-static coatings, just made sticky rain. Phoenix had startups selling dust guard paint, supposed to be self-cleaning.
Didn't work, I'm guessing.
Nope, the dust always came back.
Yeah.
Relentless. A reminder you couldn't just engineer away this deeper problem.
But the Tesla party, they had a different approach.
True to form, yeah. They launched this big gamified campaign, Clean Up the Deficit, handing out millions of microfiber rags.
Rags. To fight dust.
But the rags had QR codes embedded. Scan it, and you get these slick visual explainers on fiscal responsibility, government spending, the real cost of the debt, making the connection explicit.
Smart educational activism.
And AOC did this incredibly viral live stream from a dust-covered derelict warehouse in Detroit. She held up a jar of the stuff, glinting particles, face grim, said, "This is your money, burned and blown back at you."
Powerful image.
Hit 100 million views in 3 days. Cemented the dust as this symbol of collective economic failure, mismanagement made tangible.
And politically, how did the dust play out?
It just deepened the divides.
Yeah.
Mayors across the country, bipartisan group, signed this dust pact, called for immediate budget reform, austerity,
And Trump?
mocked it on Truth Social, called it woke weather nonsense. Typical. This division just got worse as the dust depression kicked in.
Dust depression.
Yeah. Global bond market got shapy. U.S. credit ratings plummeted AAA down to junk. China stopped buying U.S. debt entirely,
Ouch.
which made America's interest payments balloon. Unsustainable levels. And then came actual, literal dust storms. Particulate matter got so thick.
Storms made of deficit dust.
Apparently. Shut down O'Hare Airport in Chicago. Grounded thousands of flights. Even canceled an NFL game in Dallas. Suddenly, abstract national debt felt like a real disruptive force of nature, impacting everything.
Meanwhile, Layla Sadeghi, the journalist,
Her book manuscript, now titled The Default Season, was growing, becoming this underground must-read. She landed this shocking interview for it, a former Fed governor.
what did they say?
Admitted that macroeconomics has gone metaphysical. Revealed they'd considered totally crazy measures, like creating fake exports, literally inventing economic activity to try and reverse the dust.
Gasperit shows the old models were useless.
Completely broken, scrambling to apply old rules to a game where physics and finance had merged into something new and terrifying.
But amidst all this, the Tesla party offered something tangible.
They did, their dust-free zones program, pilot communities, where air quality bonuses were earned through this intense, gamified civic engagement on TeslaGov.
How did that work?
Citizens participated in local budget simulations,
Hmm.
proposed and voted on outcomes, even directly contributed to local energy grids. It was all about active participation.
And did it work? Did it reduce the dust?
Well, traditional scientific proof was tricky, but pilot zones in places like Madison and Santa Fe, they reported actual measurable dust reduction. A direct, though maybe mystifying, link between collective civic action and a cleaner environment.
Wow. Like positive human intention could literally clean the air.
That was the core idea the novel pushed. Collective engagement trumping top-down directives, proving the power was in the people acting together.
Okay, so by early 2027, it wasn't just mist or dust anymore. America didn't just have a debt problem, it had a literal sky problem. The most terrifying thing yet appeared. The debt cliff.
Right, above Washington, D.C.
And this wasn't a cloud, not a storm. It's described as a massive, slow-rippling, light-bending void, like a hole in the sky, tethered to nothing, just hovering there like a vertical bruise.
A tear in the atmosphere itself.
Yeah. And it wasn't subtle. It was so huge, so undeniably real. It was visible from space. The ISS cameras caught it. Looked like this swirling funnel of warped light, a sinkhole in the sky permanently looming over the Capitol.
And symbolically, it was exactly that. The physical manifestation of the U.S.'s mounting fiscal obligations. A literal rip in the sky that grew with every missed payment, every new round of borrowing.
How did they even try to explain it? Scientists, economists.
They struggled, obviously. Theories range from a gravitational mirage, like the sheer weight of debt bending light, to something much weirder. A quantum rupture linked to national trust.
National trust.
Yeah, the idea that the erosion of global faith in the U.S. government's ability to pay its debts was literally tearing reality apart, which led to this concept of debt lift.
Debt lift. What's that?
The terrifying idea that America's unpaid obligations were generating a kind of negative gravity, slowly pulling things upward, even reality itself.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. The sky, one symbol of limitless opportunity, now felt heavy, fractured by the weight of broken promises, unsustainable spending.
And the effects on the ground, were they noticeable?
Immediately unnerving, deeply surreal. Birds started avoiding the entire airspace over D.C., just veering off in these strange, wide arcs.
Look, they could sense it.
Exactly. Drones, which were everywhere, just started dropping out of the sky. Navigation systems failed. They'd crash randomly. Clouds would actively skirt the edges of the void, creating these bizarre, unnatural weather patterns.
And closer to the ground?
Minor things, but deeply creepy. Kids' toys floating a few inches off the floor. Park benches tipping over for no reason. And then this viral live broadcast shocked millions showed a man's baseball cap just lifting straight off his head and floating up, disappearing into the cliff.
Making it clear gravity wasn't reliable anymore.
Not around D.C. anyway. The rules were changing.
And the global financial reaction.
Catastrophic. Moody's downgraded U.S. credit to junk. Unprecedented. The Treasury tried to issue new bonds, found zero buyers, complete collapse of investor confidence.
The world stopped trusting the U.S. dollar.
Totally. Rumors flew Japan. Germany secretly building new currency blocks, ditching the dollar. The euro rallied. Crypto spiked as people sought any alternative. It was clear the world's faith was gone, mirroring that literal tear in the sky.
So, faced with this existential sky crisis, what did the Tesla party do?
They proposed something bold, audacious really, through TeslaGov, the Grounding Act.
Grounding Act.
A decentralized, tokenized civic bond system. It let ordinary Americans voluntarily anchor themselves and the nation to solvency by contributing labor, time, services, community gardening, infrastructure repair, tutoring, anything tangible in exchange for grounding credits, tracked on a blockchain, redeemable for local goods and services in spark zones.
Trying to counter the debt lift from the ground up.
Exactly. TeslaGov launched the Anchor Challenge.
Yep.
Millions participated, earning these symbolic gravity points for their grounded actions, countering abstract fiscal failure with tangible community contribution.
Did it do anything to the cliff?
Remarkably, yes. According to the sources, this collective civic engagement, driven by shared intention, had a measurable effect. The debt cliff's growth slowed. In some areas, it even seemed to shrink a tiny bit.
Collective will influencing physics.
That's what the narrative suggests. Leila Sadeghi interviewed this brilliant teenage coder, Rami, from Pittsburgh. He'd built an app syncing grounding actions with solar activity, lunar cycles.
Why?
His explanation was amazing. He said, we're syncing with reality, not with a dollar, with the earth.
Yeah.
It highlights that core premise. Conscious, collective intent could literally influence physical reality. True stability wasn't in markets, it was in connection. To the planet, to each other.
A glimmer of hope. But Trump's reaction, still denial.
Oh, absolute denial, defiance. He held this bizarre campaign event at Andrews Air Force Base, the cliff looming visibly right above him.
Seriously.
Yeah, gestured dramatically at it, declared, "It's not our debt, it's China's fraud. That's not a cliff, it's fake air, another liberal hoax."
While it's right there.
Exactly. Followers cheered, but the footage went global, with captions like, "Reality denied," underscoring this dangerous disconnect. Then came Floating Day, April 22nd, 2027, Earth Day.
Floating day.
Across the whole mid-Atlantic region, light objects, newspapers, empty cans, even some small pets reportedly just started drifting upward, randomly, solidifying the terrifying reality of the cliff's anti-gravity effect. A day where the ground felt unstable, reality fraying.
What did the scientific community make of all this? They couldn't ignore it forever.
They couldn't. In a stunning reversal, leading physicists and economists, top institutions worldwide, released this joint paper. Chilling title, The Gravimetric Consequences of National Default.
Whoa.
And it basically posited that economic trust could influence physical constants, specifically gravity, an idea once ridiculed as pseudoscience, now backed by observed anomalies, accepted by global scientific consensus.
So lack of trust could literally break gravity.
The chilling conclusion was that America had broken a universal law, the law of economic reality. Collective belief in a system had implications so profound they could warp space-time itself, underscoring the almost spiritual power of collective trust, not just on markets, but on physics.
People must have been terrified. How did they cope?
The fear was palpable. People started wearing weighted vests designed to counteract the debt lift. Some literally tethered themselves to lampposts with rope when they went outside, desperate measures to stay grounded.
Incredible.
Layla's podcast, The Air Report, became the country's most streamed, chronicling these surreal events, providing this vital, if unsettling, information lifeline. Then, July 4th, 2027, no fireworks. Instead, AOC led National Grounding Day.
What did that involve?
Millions across TeslaGov Spark zones participated, not celebrating, but tangible acts of civic contribution, planting trees, building community housing, cooking meals for neighbors, reconnecting.
A different kind of patriotism.
Exactly. Her address resonated deeply. "We floated too long, it's time to root again." A powerful rallying cry. Shifting from abstract financial dependence to tangible community action, reconnecting to something real.
So the debt cliff marks this peak of atmospheric crisis, but the problems keep shifting. What happens in 2028?
2028 dawns, and the air problems persist but morph again, blanketing the nation in this new, insidious anomaly, dollar smog.
Smog now. After mist and dust. Yeah. But not industrial smog. Described as a thin, oily haze, floating everywhere. Cities, suburbs, slightly refractive, distorting edges of buildings, lights, and this pervasive, sickly, sweet smell like melting plastic and old ink.
Ugh, sounds awful.
And weirdly, it was mostly invisible in photos, digital captures. But anyone outside felt it. A subtle pressure, a constant hum vibrating in your inner ear. It was like a smog of decaying value. The air heavy with the sickness of the currency itself.
What do they think caused it?
The source suggests two linked ideas. One, micro vibrations in purchasing power literally bleeding into the visible spectrum. Currency instability becoming atmospheric disturbance.
Okay.
The other may be deeper. A mass hallucination triggered by collective distrust. A shared psychological burden made physical.
Wow. Either way, the effects sound bad.
Undeniably real. Deeply unsettling. Digital screens fogged up. Cash registers glitched constantly. Even AR systems started miscalculating distances, object properties.
That's psychologically.
That was maybe worse. Widespread green fog syndrome. Acute irritability, confusion, this pervasive aching nostalgia for when things felt stable. It fundamentally changed the national mood. A population constantly on edge, burdened by their own failing currency. Layla Sadeghi must have described this too.
Oh, yeah. She wrote about being in Tulsa. Prices on storefronts flickering, appearing much higher than they were.
Yeah.
Only her Civic Mirror, this special calibrated TeslaGov tool, showed the real lower value. A constant fight between perception and reality.
And it was worse in certain places.
Definitely. Worst in shopping districts, banking hubs, areas dominated by finance, places where the abstract health, or rather the sickness of the dollar was most concentrated, like greed and instability literally poisoning the air.
Did TeslaGov have a response?
Swiftly, true to their data-driven style, they released the Smog Index, live granular readout of currency density, zip code by zip code, updated constantly.
So you could avoid the worst spots.
Exactly. Navigate using real-time maps on your device. And Spark zones, those integrated communities, started ringing themselves with digital dollar scrubbers. Low-energy EM emitters designed to disrupt smog particles, keep the air clear inside.
Showing that tech-driven adaptive approach again.
Yeah, offering a concrete counter to this abstract threat made physical.
And Trump, still in charge, still denying.
Still there, still denying. Dismissed the dollar smog as a liberal hoax. Blamed AI hallucinations supposedly beamed in from China.
Unbelievable.
Treasury tried desperate old-school interventions. Jacked interest rates up to 18%. Issued gold-backed tokens. Flooded the market with patriotic currency reprints featuring Trump's face.
Did any of it work?
Not a bit. Smog got deeper, proved the old systems, old levers, were useless against this new kind of problem. The nation was choking on its own devalued money.
There had to be a breaking point.
There was. Tax Day, April 15th, in Manhattan, became known as the visibility collapse.
What happened?
Dollar smog reached this unprecedented, suffocating density. Satellite images of the city just blurred into haze. Facial recognition systems failed completely.
Chaos.
Worse. Traders on Wall Street reported hallucinating, seeing currency figures stepping off bills, dancing in front of them, widespread panic. All trading froze for 13 agonizing hours.
Wow. The heart of finance paralyzed.
Commentators called it either a seismic confidence event, collective trust literally breaking reality, or just currency weather. The dollar's abstract value becoming a physical obstruction, rendering the financial world blind and paralyzed.
So after that, something had to give.
Right. AOC, through TeslaGov, unveiled this radical policy bundle, Decoupling Day.
Decoupling from what?
From the dollar. The plan proposed phasing out the U.S. dollar as the main civic exchange tool, replacing it with this constellation of decentralized options, time units, energy credits, local trust bonds, a multi-anchor economic fabric run on secure, open-source AI ledgers.
A complete reimagining of money, grounding value in real things, real effort.
Exactly. Moving beyond fiat currency, a profound challenge to how value itself was defined.
And the result, did it work in the spark zones?
The outcome was stark and profoundly positive. In spark zones that adopted the protocol, the air miraculously cleared. Light returned, hope lightning, that positive anomaly, reappeared frequently.
A visible sign of success.
Led to a huge cultural shift. People held clarity marches, quiet parades through former smog zones wearing reflective clothes, carrying homemade currencies, celebrating visual and mental sharpness.
Wow.
New music genres emerged, tuned to the frequencies of cleaned air, clarity music. And a leaked Fed white paper titled Monetary Mycelium supposedly argued the dollar was dying of loneliness, an abstract currency with no collective belief left to sustain it.
Powerful stuff. Collective perception changing reality. Belief clearing the air.
That was the lesson. A shift in shared belief could literally reshape the physical world.
So, after all this escalating weirdness, the final shoe drops. The ultimate tipping point. July 31st, 2028.
The moment of default.
Yeah. The U.S. Treasury, first time ever, misses a single interest payment. Just one. $8.1 billion due to a Japanese pension fund. Seems small, relatively.
It was enough.
It was enough. It triggered the next terrifying phase. The default drift. The final straw. The crack in the dam that finally broke.
And the drift was different again. Not mist, not dust, not smog.
No. Described as this profoundly unsettling atmospheric anomaly, maybe 200 feet tall, miles wide, moved like fog, but had this internal texture like flowing, corrupted computer code, only visible to some, apparently, those tuned to certain frequencies.
Creepy.
And the sound. Observers reported hearing these chilling whispers coming from it, snippets of foreign news talking about the default, distorted market reports, but also weirdly personal stuff, fragments of childhood memories, deep regrets.
Like the nation's subconscious breaking through.
A tangible manifestation of forgotten promises, financial ghosts, collective burdens, a wandering spirit of collapse, murmuring the consequences everyone had ignored, the weight of all those unpaid bills.
Lila Sadeghi experienced it directly.
Yeah, she was near Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
at a currency reclamation festival in a spark zone. The air had been clear there for weeks. Suddenly it thickened, got heavy. Her field mic picked up these amplified sounds from the drift.
How did she hear?
Including a voice, sounded exactly like the Secretary of the Treasury, distorted, resigned, saying, "We are not in default, but we are no longer in charge."
Whoa. A confession from the air itself.
A public admission of loss delivered by the atmosphere, underscoring this terrifying shift in power, in autonomy.
And the global reaction. Panic.
Instantaneous. Terrifying speed. Global bond market froze solid. Credit default swaps spiked to insane levels. Foreign governments frantically dumped their dollar reserves. Ratings agencies reclassified the U.S. not just in default, but structurally insolvent. fundamentally broken.
Well, the drift just kept drifting.
Yeah. It didn't care about financial terms. Continued its eerie march west.
Right.
An unstoppable force. As it passed over cities, systems glitched. Lights dimmed. People just stopped. Some broke down crying. Others collapsed from the sheer mental, emotional overload.
Any major physical impacts?
The sources describe this moment in Kansas City. A whole segment of a highway interchange reportedly lifted 6 inches off the ground for 4 seconds as the drift passed over. Seriously. The default physically lifted a highway.
Demonstrating the profound, unpredictable physical impact of this economic collapse on actual infrastructure.
The drift went over Chicago, too, didn't it, where Layla was?
Yes. She was broadcasting live from Millennium Park, standing under the beam, the Cloud Gate sculpture. As the drift engulfed it, the sculpture rippled. Not just physically, but temporally.
Temporally.
Showing these fleeting, ghostly reflections of people from other decades. Historical figures, forgotten citizens. Layla's live stream, now hitting like 80 million views, caught her whispering, voice choked, "America has defaulted, and the sky remembers."
It's chilling. And Trump, still denying.
Still denying, called it fake, just a breeze with branding. From a White House glazed by the omnipresent drift. But the Treasury was silent. The drift was undeniable. Default wasn't an event anymore. It was a condition, a new state of being.
But then something really weird happened in Texas.
Extraordinary, bordering on miraculous. The drift, instead of continuing west as one mass, it inexplicably split. One half kept going. The other half just stopped. Hovered for days, almost magnetically, right over Austin.
No. Tesla party hub.
Seems likely. TeslaGov seized the opportunity, launched this experimental advanced beta node into the lingering anomaly.
Risky.
Very. For 17 tenth seconds, the node vanished, then reappeared, embedded with what scientists immediately recognized as alien code, a completely new, non-terrestrial data structure.
Alien code. Seriously.
That's how the source describes it. After frantic decryption, they found this recursive fiscal model, an infinitely self-correcting economic algorithm, and this profound, almost mystical phrase, "If belief fails, rebuild the denominator."
Rebuild the denominator. What does that mean?
It led directly to TeslaGov launching the denominator protocol, a real-time ledger overhaul, designed to immediately replace all defaulted national debt with tangible civic contributions, time credits, climate offsets, fundamentally replacing money owed with energy shared, value created.
Wow. A new foundation based on contribution, not debt.
Exactly. A radical reset seemingly gifted by this strange anomaly.
Okay, so the U.S. defaults, the drift appears, splits, gives this new model. Then what?
Then comes the global phase.
Yeah.
August 15th, 2028, 3:33 a.m. GMT, a new phenomenon.
The global
Echo. Across 6 continents, simultaneously, people woke up to the same deep, low-frequency hum. Not mechanical, not geological.
economic.
A global economic hum.
Started as this barely perceptible vibration, but deeply unsettling. Dogs howled, infants cried, false earthquake alerts went off everywhere, musical instruments vibrated untouched. TeslaGov sent out a notification. The drift has passed, the echo is arrival, signaling a new interconnected phase, a global reset.
Layla saw this too. Where was she? In Paris. At a spark zone pop-up in the Louvre. Described a massive crystal chandelier shivering violently. The ancient marble floor vibrating beneath her. Simultaneously, phones buzzed worldwide with static.
Oh, static.
That, when decoded using TeslaGov's new Echo Translator, turned into fragments of contracts, debt covenants, trade agreements, all suddenly nullified by these chaotic, unreadable glyphs.
The old system just broke. Globally.
Financial analysts called it the Great Unsettling. Global markets froze instantly. Total incoherence. AI trading algorithms failed spectacularly. Parliaments collapsed. London, Brasilia, Seoul. Leaders just forgot the point or spontaneously resigned. A synchronized global disruption of the old economic order. Like the planet collectively decided the old rules were finished.
So, chaos. But Spark Zones had a plan.
They activated the Echo protocol, a multi-node, multilingual simulation layer, offering options, not orders, to communities, enabling immediate, localized economic self-determination.
So communities chose their own path.
Exactly. Empowered by TeslaGov. Accra, Ghana. Shifted to time-based wages valuing labor directly. Barcelona adopted energy as its trade unit kilowatt hours became currency. Jakarta declared housing a non-transactional asset, pulling it out of the market entirely.
Wow, total experimentation.
Each choice visible in real time on a transparent public ledger, built not on consensus, but radical, verifiable transparency. Highlighting this decentralized, localized approach. Value based on utility, human needs, not speculation.
Like a global debugging of the old system.
Essentially, yeah. The echo made old structures incoherent, but simultaneously amplified signals of coherence wherever they existed. Sustainable models started spreading rapidly.
Example.
A farmers' co-op in Bihar, India, based on shared labor and resource barter, became a global template. A barter-based daycare in Vancouver replicated in 32 cities in weeks. Ideas spreading by resonance, not force.
That quote from the Kenyan diplomat.
Yeah, beautiful summary. The dollar spoke with a voice. The echo is a song. We're learning the chorus. A shift from a single top-down economic force to this diverse, interconnected network. A symphony of local prosperity.
And AOC, where was she in all this?
She went totally silent for 3 days. Intense speculation. Then, as the echo peaked, she appeared, not on screens, but through them.
Through them.
A multi-language AR hologram, simultaneously on all SparkZone devices globally, showed her standing barefoot in this vibrant, rewilded field, river flowing behind her. Her message, concise, profound, layered in harmonies like she was speaking with the echo. We've crossed the threshold. The future is no longer something we borrow. It is something we owe.
Powerful. Solidified her as a leader for this new era, a call to responsibility.
Yeah. And the post-dollar world started taking shape. Key principles emerged. Currency was plural. Value was local. Trust became data. Data became the new global commons.
The fundamental shift.
The very last G7 summit, meeting symbolically in Zurich, issued this radical declaration. Each nation shall define its value basis independently, using shared climate and well-being indicators as connection points. The dollar, not gone, but localized, stripped of global reserve status, no longer the single driving force, a re-anchoring to diverse, distributed value.
And echo cities started popping up.
Municipalities fully running on these post-dollar systems, Nairobi paying salaries and solar tokens tied to energy production, Medellin using time credits for everything, Cleveland fixing potholes via gamified civic apps where citizens earned contribution points.
Amazing.
Each city unique, but all shared one thing. The low, unsettling hum of the echo was gone, replaced by calm coherence. Music festivals celebrated new currencies. DJs sampled AOC's river speech into trance mixes, a cultural embrace of the new reality.
Okay, so global reset, new systems emerging, then comes election night, November 3rd, 2028, and another atmospheric event.
Completely unexpected. The surplus storm. Formed over Colorado, against all predictions, swept east, smelled like citrus and iron, made people's hair stand on end with this pleasant static charge.
Just weather, though.
No. A cosmic confirmation, a physical manifestation of this profound national shift. The source describes it as condensation from clarity. America had birthed a civic surplus. For the first time, more shared value in the commons, collective energy, creativity, trust, than debt owed to the old system.
Wow, more value created than debt owed.
And nature responded. The first raindrops weren't water, but shimmering silver. The storm then struck the lingering debt cliff over D.C., not with thunder, but like a bell.
And the cliff.
Completely dissolved, vanished from the sky. A symbolic and literal cleansing, signifying the transition from an economy of lack to one of abundance, communal wealth.
As this happens, election results are coming in.
SparkZones nationwide enter celebratory mode. Real-time holographic projections confirm AOC's sweeping victory. The moment her win is announced, lightning arcs across the Capitol dome, described as not destructive, but cleansing.
The sky itself confirming the new direction.
It seemed that way. And the storm's physical impact was miraculous, a testament to the shift. In Omaha, a civic turbine, powered by trust bonds and time credits, spun so fast it created clean wind currents feeding the grid. Miami's solar grid surged, feeding districts for free. Old highways in Seattle glowed green, powered by latent civic energy.
Incredible.
TeslaGov issued a global statement. Humanity has entered phase 0 of post-scarcity. Local surpluses now exceed global deficits. Welcome to the planetary dividend, declaring a new economic era. Abundance, not scarcity.
And AOC's victory speech.
She appeared not at a podium, but as that multi-language AR hologram again, voice layered in harmonic chords. Said simply, the economy is not numbers. It is nourishment. We fed the system, now it returns the favor. Federal buildings in SparkZones lit up, not red, white, blue, but bioluminescent green, symbolizing an ecosystem, not just a state, a living organism.
Then there was the surplus singularity.
Over Dayton, Ohio, symbolic heart of industry, lightning hit a repurposed GM factory, triggered a temporary resonance loop across all civic devices in North America, emitted a single rising note for 11 minutes.
What happened during that?
People reported vivid visions, forecasted memories, future cities of light and clay, trees voting in ecological parliaments, kids hearing songs from their future selves.
Whoa.
And the storm left a literal green print. Buildings coated in fertilizer, soil pH stabilized, lakes microcleaned, people's blood work improved, heightened neural coherence, a tangible universal healing, driven by civic surplus.
AOC's first act as president-elect.
Introduced the Surplus Codex, a living open-source document for measuring, storing, sharing excess energy, time, creativity, compassion. She said, "We have always measured what we lack. Now we learn to measure what we give."
A fundamental shift in values.
Enshrined in 3 proposed new constitutional amendments: the right to contribution, the right to redemption, the right to wonder. A blueprint for a society based on shared value, forgiveness, and curiosity.
So just 2 days after that incredible surplus storm, November 5th, 2028, the sky holds still for the first time in years.
The chaos ends.
Yeah. Trade mist gone, dollar smog dispersed into crisp air, default drift silenced. Even the debt cliff, it just softened into this pale transparency like a scar finally healing. A quiet exhale across the country. An absence of distortion. A profound quietness. Layla Sadeghi called it a city that sounded honest.
The visual noise lifted. Peace.
And this rebalancing, it wasn't just political, right? It was deeper.
A profound act of unwinding. Collectively untangling decades of economic and maybe spiritual debt. In D.C., people did the grounding walk, barefoot on sensor paths on the Mall, their steps projecting words like recalibrating or forgiven onto the ground.
Wow.
TeslaGov called this new state civic weather, modeling emotional climate alongside ecological signals, showing human intent, collective emotional coherence could directly influence the atmosphere, making visible that link between human feeling and planetary well-being.
And AOC, as president-elect, she formalized this.
Issued her rebalancing mandate through this Spark Zone holographic meeting called The Weighing, symbolically recognizing every citizen's contribution. Announced 3 key initiatives to reshape the nation.
What were they?
First, the Clean Slate Act. Transformed all old debt into service credits. Pay back your past with future contributions.
Redemption.
Second, the Sky Trust. Public ownership of atmospheric, orbital, electromagnetic resources. Satellite bands, clean air, everything held in common.
Protecting the commons.
And third, the Rhythm Standard. Revolutionary new metric replacing GDP. Based on synchronized well-being, local abundance, participatory time. Moving beyond growth to holistic societal health.
How did the world react to that, the Rhythm Standard?
Immediately. Resonated globally, like the planet was waiting for it. Iceland's public plazas started chiming in harmony when global rhythm coherence hit certain levels. Ghana synced health clinics to emotional cartography from rhythm data, diagnosing community well-being.
Incredible integration.
Tokyo trains paused for stillness intervals during rush hour, letting commuters reset. In Detroit, a rhythm foundry turned an old car factory into this kinetic sculpture, shifted by personal balance sheets of time, attention, gratitude. Collective balance made visible.
And something new in the atmosphere.
This civic atmosphere, this shimmering band of coherent human breath detected high in the troposphere, proof that collective human resonance could manifest physically, a protective, nourishing layer.
Was there resistance to all this?
Some, yeah, in non-spark zones. Armed militias called the Rhythm Standard technocratic control. Old oil companies tried launching a cynical sky coin tied to carbon capture.
Did it work?
Crashed instantly. Underlying values didn't align with the new reality. AOC responded not with force, but residence embassies, pop-up dialogue hubs in neutral zones, truth-telling, dream-mapping circles, facilitating healing, often leading to voluntary conversion as people felt the benefits. Gentle transformation.
And the debt cliff, it just vanished during the storm.
No, it dissolved completely after the rebalancing mandate. The source says, one morning it simply faded from the sky. Beautifully put. No rupture, no sound, just a soft ripple like a wave pulling back into the sea.
The end of that burden.
Signifying the end of inherited debt, a cultural exit from that debt-centric world. And when the Rhythm Standard hit 1.0 peak coherence, one final breathtaking event, the sky bloom. High atmosphere particles reflecting light into these spiraling, vibrant auroras, visible even during the day. A magnificent shifting display of the rebalanced atmosphere, a visual testament to a healed nation.
And this rebalanced sky led to new ways of governing.
The whole new architecture. Sky Commons emerged, cooperative ownership of sky space bandwidth, ensuring equitable access. Cloud courts resolve conflicts not adversarially, but via high-trust digital assemblies using simulated empathy. fostering reconciliation,
Wow.
harmonic taxation, contributions tied to the vibrational coherence of actions. Selfishness literally cost more, incentivizing alignment, kindness, a system based on well-being, intrinsic alignment, not punishment.
So the sky is rebalanced, then comes the final piece, something from below.
January 1st, 2029. New Year arrives not with fireworks but quiet exhale, and this profound discovery, the air beneath our feet.
What was it?
In Montana, a boy digging a school garden hit something invisible. A subtle substrate beneath the crust, only found in spark zone areas. A shimmering field of submaterial conductivity, pulsing, responding to intent. A new kind of Earth, or maybe an ancient one, reactivated by collective alignment. A foundation of conscious energy.
TeslaGov must have studied it.
Dubbed it the foundation layer, the physical counterpart to the sky bloom. As above, so below. This totally reversed old metaphors. The economy wasn't overhead, weighing you down. It was literally underfoot. A grounded, responsive system, nurturing and supporting, collective trust made solid.
And you could build with it.
Symbiotic structures started growing. Homes not extracted, but grown from this responsive earth using sonic imprinting, adapting to the mood, health of inhabitants. Kids called them thought houses. The built environment responding directly to consciousness, living architecture.
How did people get around?
Transport shifted too.
Yeah.
No more concrete roads. Flowways woven into the land by rhythmic vibration. Guiding electric gliders that surfed on consensus, flowing through intuition, not fixed routes.
And governance. How did that evolve?
Under ledgers. Soil-anchored civic archives tracking lived memory, not just money. Updated by ritual walks, intention stakes. Creating a civic mycelium, connecting memories, intentions across cities like fungal networks. Resolving disputes through remembrance, empathy. Justice rooted in the ground.
AOC's inauguration day sounded different.
A silent procession. Capital to the Potomac. Citizens pouring colored water symbolizing contributions, regrets, hopes into the river. Largest nonverbal democratic act ever. Layla Sadeghi, walking the reflecting pool later, noticed her steps made musical tones from the earth itself. She knelt, the ground vibrated with her heartbeat. Profound resonance.
That final quote from Layla's book really sums it up.
Yeah, her final broadcast. Reading from the published book, the air beneath our feet is not the opposite of the sky. It is the echo of our own permission to belong. For too long, we believe value floated above us. But what if the real wealth is what grows under our care, not beyond our reach? What if money was always just a placeholder for trust? And trust a placeholder for time? And time a placeholder for presence?
Moving from abstraction to presence,
Yeah.
care, interconnection.
Exactly. And kid songs like Balance is the rhythm of breath and step and rain, the world we made was floating, but now we plant again, became national anthems, signaling this profound spiritual return to his sacred, grounded existence. Global surveys showed record well-being, trust in local governance, ecological regeneration. The UN recognized TeslaGov's framework. AOC declined a second term, saying leadership is stewardship, not ownership. Hashtag tag, hashtag Patreon.
Okay, so what does this all mean? I mean, we've unpacked a truly astonishing future here, where economic forces, they stop being abstract things on screens or in reports. They become tangible, breathable, even walkable parts of our world.
Right, from that shimmering trade mist, the gritty deficit dust.
All the way to the resonant air beneath our feet. This deep dive into Trump's default, the mist of empire, it really shows this radical reimagining of wealth, governance, our whole relationship with the planet.
Yeah. It's a journey from collapse, the terrifying default drift, the suffocating dollar smog,
to this profound rebalancing, ushered in by the cleansing surplus storm, the adoption of that transformative rhythm standard.
And if we try to, connect this to the bigger picture, our picture, this source material gives us this incredibly vivid vision.
Yeah.
A world where value is literally in the air we breathe, the ground we walk on.
Makes you think.
It forces us to really consider what invisible economic things are shaping our reality right now. What are the unseen burdens, the unacknowledged costs, maybe even the hidden potentials in our own systems that we just don't see because they haven't, turned into smog or dust yet. And what would it actually take for our world to start literally rebalancing the sky and feeling the air beneath our feet, to shift how we see value, wealth, to something more tangible, more fair, more connected to our shared reality? And this raises, I think, a really important question. If our collective belief in abstract systems can, in this story at least, create physical reality, what power do we actually have as a collective to intentionally create a different reality, a more balanced one,
Yeah.
a more resonant one?
That's the big question, isn't it? So what stands out to why you listening to this? How do these ideas, these atmospheric economies, how do they resonate with what you see around you every day? We really encourage you to keep thinking about the real world impacts of these abstract economic ideas. And maybe, yeah, maybe look a little closer at the air around you or the ground beneath your feet. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.